And we are up. The FN button and the down arrow, or FN escape if you want to mute.
Echo.
Hello! Yeah, I think we'll do that one. I think we are going to do The Only Truth That Sticks. So we will be hired by the Capellan Confederation to take action against the leadership of the separatist state, the St. Ives Commonality. Personally, if it were up to me, I'd be siding with the St. Ives Commonality. But they're not willing to pay me, so unfortunately, they're on their own. The rulers of St. Ives are, in fact, actually related to the rulers of the Capellan Confederation. They're part of House Lau. But Candace Lau did not appreciate her family's oppressive ruling style and decided to break away a considerable chunk of the Confederate. Unfortunately, they would be relatively short-lived. After the clan invasion and the formation of the Second Star League, the Second Star League used a sort of rotational system to determine who was in charge, and when it came around to the Capellans being in charge, the Capellan ruler at the time abused his position and manipulated the situation to put himself in a position to try and take over the commonality, which was, a bit rough on the commonality citizens. So I logged on a little bit early, so I'll wait a minute or two till our scheduled start to actually get going. So really, I'd be looking at mostly 75 tonners for this one, ideally. Uh, but as I do not have that precise weight allotment, I will put my 2 minions. Ah, hello Seven, you're back. We started the stream a little bit early. For a recap, we have been hired by the Capellan Confederation to make an example of for the offshoots. No, I did not get another Highlander, unfortunately. I wound up doing the mission with 4 victors, and it wound up being very, very painful in the end. I think our repair costs were more than we made. So we took a loss on that one. But we got this nifty Orion here, this YAJ. What Bateman is in, with its fancy exploding color scheme. Those are colors it was in the mission. The colors Whitby had it in before we blew her to fragments. Which, to be fair, was probably a better outcome for her than if we turned her over to the will of Callie. This Dragon's another unusual model. It's a Sidewinder, and we took that off a Kuritan a while back. Hello! Now that we have a few people here, let's get started.
Attention. Prepare for battle act departure. Warning. Hangar doors open.
I am in multiplayer mode, so if anyone does have the game and wants to join me, we can slot you in.
Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Ah.
In order to lay our ambush for the St. Ives Sentinels, we must first take control of a large telecommunications disk used to communicate with the capital world of Vestalis 4. Given its importance to the security of Vestalis 3, it is heavily guarded by planetary militia. You are to assist the 2nd Confederation Reserve Cavalry with...
Given that they just walked directly in front of me, I could believe that.
Hostiles, cavalry infantry will move to secure the communications array. Do not fail us, Commander.
So I will let my buddies deal with those while I go try to handle some of that artillery. I believe I have mentioned in the past my fondness for getting shelled. Or, you know, the lack thereof. There are actually mech portable artillery systems. Although I've yet to run into any of them in this. The Arrow 4 is basically a lightweight, short-ranged cruise missile that certain mechs, notably the Catapult, speak of the devil, notably the Catapult, and I think certain variants of Archer contain. I also support pineapple on pizza. Pineapple on pizza is delicious. I am very confused why they're yelling about the Draconis Combine when we are fighting St. Ives for the Capellas. I've never actually had a carbonara pizza. I don't think it's a Canadian thing. I'm quite fond of a Donair pizza, which is a maritime Canada specialty.
Target down.
Target acquired.
It's Donair meat, which is spiced beef, I believe. Tomato, onion, cheese, and then Donair sauce, which is evaporated milk and garlic.
Target destroyed.
Enemy destroyed.
Target acquired.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the only use for anchovies is to feed better fish. Like haddock. Now, I have another set of artillery battalions to deal with. I have a friend who does not like food that still has faces. One of these days I'm going to figure out how to grill a monkfish for him whole.
New target Griffin.
Tango down.
That was Kippers. Having just watched Eurovision recently, can we put a moratorium on the mention of bananas for the day?
Enemy reinforcements inbound.
I don't like this artillery.
Another enemy dropship incoming.
Empty.
Spain did do quite well. I think Spain placed third. Ukraine won by a landslide. Second place went to the United Kingdom, which was France gave the UK 12 points.
Jump jet fuel low. Jump jet fuel empty.
Let's see. I really like the Moldovan entry this year. I mean, it will still be united, it will just be marginally less united. Because even if Sinn Féin gets their way, I can't see Scotland in independence as quickly as most of Scotland would like. And Scotland does get its independence. I don't think the Welsh nationalists are quite as... what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think Wales similar independence movement. Yeah, we had like a 30-point lead on the closest, which is unheard of for a UK in Eurovision.
Enemy eliminated.
We got applause. We got applause from outside the UK section.
Target Hunchback.
Yeah, Spain's entry did include that live. Featured a considerable amount of twerking.
Back up. Good kill with that headshot.
Acquired.
I must hit his ammo there because I don't think I did enough to actually blow that section off with straight damage.
Destroyed.
The other lights that got behind us.
New target Trebuchet.
Well-placed kill shot.
Target destroyed.
Right. What's left?
Reinforcements inbound.
New target Assassin.
The enemy are deploying still more reinforcements, Commander.
Target destroyed.
The Ukrainian entry was really good. It was a blend of
Enemy destroyed.
traditional music with rap in Ukrainian, and also featured a breakdancer, which, while it's, you know,
New target
out of date
Dragon.
for modern
Enemy missing.
musical acts, gives a Eurovision entry a contemporary feel.
Target destroyed.
Yeah, apparently the the Ukrainian entry had received a special dispensation for Eurovision, but the day after the contest were on their way back to Ukraine to serve in that nation's military.
Moving in.
Mika did a very good
New
job of
target
hosting.
Phoenix Hawk.
Oh, that was a very good job too. That was hilarious. Especially coming literally 2 seconds after he confused the Romanian
Destroyed. Target
group for
acquired.
Spain.
Target destroyed. Target acquired.
Yeah, so we're doing one of the campaign missions, and in a number of them, they deploy
Target
supporting forces for give the feel of larger battles. Normally, those battles are at the very end. But apparently, in this arc, the big battle is the first one.
target destroyed. New target awesome.
Hostile mech down.
There are references to
Target destroyed.
pilots that are able to dance in mechs has a sort of it's a gimmick thing, because that sort of piloting is a good way to get very dead very quick. On the other hand, if you are capable of making a battle mech dance, you're going to be a really
Issued the all clear. The island is ours.
really effective pilot for
In with cavalry
especially
and
in
assist
tighter or
securing all
complicated
facilities on
terrain.
the island. Operational secrecy is of the utmost importance, so ensure that no one attempts to escape. Shoot anyone who attempts to flee this island by air or sea. Once the facilities are fully cleared, we will discuss the next phase of our plans.
Deploying infantry against battle mechs is a very good way to get very dead very quickly. There are ways to do it. We talked about it a little bit on stream yesterday. Traps are common. Pit traps can be useful. We talked about the possibility of tripwires, or those would be awkward to set up for mechs. If infantry can get close and can climb the mech, putting satchel charges in things like the foot or leg actuators. Really, if you are an infantryman who has to come up against the battle mech, you want to be in a city. You want to be in a city, and you want to do nasty tricks like, rappel down onto the cockpit. And once you are there, you can do things like attach a satchel charge to the faceplate, or try to blow or cut your way in through the hatch, which will allow you to do all sorts of nasty things to the pilots. Infantry's job typically is peacekeepers, reserves. Mechs have a hard time seizing an urban environment because they can't exactly do things like clear a building. So if you want to hold part of the territory, you need infantry. Mechs will take it. You need infantry to clear it out and occupy it. So we've taken the primary interplanetary communications array located on Vestalis 3. The St. Ives Sentinels have yet to move from their garrison on 4, and in order for Romano Lau's plan to work, they have to be completely unaware of our machinations. There's still a few liabilities, particularly in the form of a robust network of satellite arrays in Wong Tai Sin City. I hope I pronounced that right. If I did not, I very much apologize. I have been making the assumption that those fringed robes are traditional Ukrainian. We're deploying me to hit the ground and destroy the comms technology so the ambush can proceed. That's going to endear me to Comstar, but that's fine because they hate me already. And the 2nd Confederation Reserve Cavalry will be executing similar raids in other parts of the system. Alas, I cannot provide you with more knowledge. Right. Let's see what
Mind the
our
weather,
mech
Commander.
loadout is here.
It'll compromise your visibility.
I think everyone is reasonably well off, apart from my leg. We'll swap the dragon for the champion, and one of the Orions for the K. I would need an extra 20 tons. I'm going to need a moment here. I will be back in a moment. Okay. That would drop me 10. That would drop me 5. Okay. We'll take the Atlas D. He can take the Champion. And he can take the Oni K. Fun fact, the K variant of the Orion is that famously piloted by Alexander Kerensky. And before we do anything else, I may need to jump away to do some repairs before the next one. Or take a short lance. Kerensky was the last commander of the Star League Defense Force, and after the Amaris coup, he led 80% of it on a grand exodus from the Inner Sphere, so that they and their equipment would not be there to fight in the succession wars that Kerensky saw was coming after the Star League was left without leadership and the five great houses couldn't decide exactly what they wanted, who they wanted to lead. I actually talked about this a bit on the stream yesterday, but I think that may have been after you left. But if you want to watch past streams, I have been putting them up on YouTube. Just search for Bloody Rags and Whiskey, and each video is labeled with the name of the mission arc we do in that stream.
Stand clear.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
The remote communications array may have provided the most direct means of communications with Vestalis 4, but it is far from the only means of attempting to get a message out. We cannot risk the Sentinels being tipped off to our presence before our ambush is ready, so we need you to destroy a number of satellite arrays in Wong Tai Sin City. See that it gets done, Commander.
Now, destroying communications technology is questionable. I think they have us destroying local communications, so within the system only, which we can probably get. Well, it's not only that, but the interstellar communications are all owned by Comstar, and they tend to frown on people blowing them up. Anyone who is caught attacking Comstar directly gets blacklisted from their communications facilities, which means no access to interstellar communications at all.
New target, Enforcer.
Hostile mech spotted.
Oh, they totally deserve it.
Target acquired.
Well, I do apologize for the technical